Yes, good morning to all participants. Good morning and thanks to Professor Viegas who managed also an unexpected event because I was in my university, but we had a electricity power breakdown probably due to too much air conditioning. So I needed to change location. I'm sorry about this. So now I'm going to share the screen and start with the slides of my presentation. Since I take the word now, before starting my presentation, I would like to thank Professor Tavares and joining all the messages from the chat because his presentation was really very clear and full of insights. Thank you very much. My presentation is about the project roadmap. As is within this project, today we held this webinar. So the roadmap is an acronym for European Observatory on Disaster Risk and Crisis Management Best Practices. I have the honor to be a coordinator as a president of the CI3R consortium, which is an Italian consortium of research centers. The project has four main partners. So it's CI3R, which is Italian Center on Research on the Risks, the Italian Civil Protection Department, University of Stavanger from Norway, and ADAI, the Association for Development of Industrial Aerodynamics. In the map, you see, of course, the geographic location of the partners. We proposed the roadmap project within the UCMP 2020 call, particularly the one named KNAG, and you see on the left-hand side in the red boxes the specific objectives of the call, which mainly were focused on the supporting civil protection and disaster risk management actors and consolidate the existing partnership between actors from these worlds. How we tried to address these and to contribute to these objectives in the roadmap project. You see the response in the boxes with the blue line. So one of the main objective of the project, and we are working hard to reach this objective, is to really try to consolidate a baseline for the creation of a doctrine on disaster risk and crisis management at European level. And in order to do this, we need to make a strong a mutual cooperation between scientists, so people from the scientific community, university and research centers, and authorities in charge of disaster risk management. In order to do this, we need to promote networking activities between people belonging to the community of stakeholders. And stakeholders, we intend experts from both science and decision making. In fact, today, among speakers, we have representatives from these two main communities. We know that sometimes it's not easy to distinguish because we have examples of people coming from the scientific community and now in the decision-making position or vice versa. But in general, we one of the objectives is to boost the network between these two actors in disaster risk management. The strategy of the project is depicted in this image, in this figure you see on the left-hand side of the slide. A key role is played by the advisory group because the advisory group should act as a kind of hinge between the consortium partners I presented in the beginning, the 4 partners and people working with the 4 partners, and the entire disaster risk management community. So we need to promote this networking by asking the advisory group to simulate questions, simulate considerations. We try to elaborate and share with the disaster risk management community and get advice or insights or suggestions from this community. The project has the objective of translating this knowledge, these elaborations into some products. And the products should be dissemination products, so periodic bulletin, thematic papers, and in the end, a vision paper, which should include the findings, the outcomes that we develop during this time of the project. The duration of the project is 18 months. So we should collect into these documents, this product, best practice and innovation, coming again from the disaster risk management community. Some of the information could be found on the web, and the advisory group has an important role of filtering and stimulating questions and topics. So as you understand, we set up the project based on a bottom-up approach, trying to get from the basis, from people really working in the field, and summarizing, coordinating the aspects coming from the bottom of this world. And again, this advisory group should be, for us, the group of people that help us to address our efforts in the direction that it seems more important, most focused with the real problems in this time. So the methodology of roadmap has been depicted in this figure we have in the project. On the left-hand side, you see all these process of production of documents, of products, articles, bulletins, papers, and vision paper. We have the objective of simulating the discussion through meetings. So you see on the right-hand side of the figure, we today we have the first webinar. We will have other webinars and also the final workshop. So the consortium partner from one side, they are responsible of preparing outputs, which are the periodic bulletins, the papers, and the vision paper. On the other side, we have the responsibility of organizing the meetings, which for the time being are planned to be online. We hope that in the final part of the project, we can have maybe the final workshop at least in a blended mode. And the brain of all this should be in the interaction of the consortium partners and the advisory group. So progressively, we should include every information, every new consideration coming from one side, from the papers or the bulletin, from the other side, from the webinars, and elaborating all these also with the help of the advisory group. And the bottom-up approach gives a lot of value to the DRM community, so to the participants to these meetings, but also to the community which is present also on the web, or the community that will contact us through email, will see maybe the information on the website, and will point out experiences that maybe we are not aware of. And the product, the very ambitious product for us, is to produce a solutions explorer, in coordination with the Disaster Risk Management Knowledge Center. And this is for us a reason to show and to be also sure about the sustainability of this project. So we are not producing any new IT product, but and in this moment, please let me thank again the Disaster Risk Management Knowledge Center colleagues, which are really very kind, very collaborative for us. They are providing input in order to help us to make sure that what we produce, it's really could be really included, so it's compatible with the format in terms of organization and also IT format of what there is in the Disaster Risk Management Knowledge Center. So we are producing a conceptual solution explorer, and we hope that this solution explorer could be then added in the organizational flowchart of the Disaster Risk Management Knowledge Center. This image is translated in the project, of course, in work packages. So we have work package 2, which is mainly focused on the interaction of consortium partners with the advisory group. The work package 3 is really focused on the products, on the written products, periodic bulletin, papers, and vision paper. The work package 4 is focused on the meetings, so webinar and final workshop. Please let me thank colleagues who are working hard, coordinating the work packages, and you see them in these slides. I don't read the names because you can see them, but I thank all of them. And also let me say that behind these names, there are groups that I would like to thank. I'm very satisfied about the advance of the project. So from the work packages, we expect results from the interaction and availability of the advisory group, and from its activity. We hope to stimulate the cooperation in disaster response among the actors coming from civil protection, disaster management, marine pollution, humanitarian actors, and in general international organizations. All this is actually promoting and increasing networking between all these worlds, all these activities. From work package 3, you understand we expect products which will put on black and white the findings and the results of the discussions and of the proposals that are advanced as the project goes ahead. Of course, in addition to the articles, to the papers, bulletins, the Solution Explorer is really the key product on which we are very focused, and we hope that this Solution Explorer will be really as we expected in the beginning. So it's a box where the expertise is developed in ad hoc civil protection and disaster management areas. And all these should put together lessons that can be shared. So lessons on this topic of disaster risk management that could be shared and could improve the response in the future cases. The interaction with the world is active through the website or roadmap website, and also these occasions like this morning webinars are really an opportunity for us to expose our work to the interests of people working in this area. One of the important structure of the project is the steering committee. The steering committee, according to the project, is led by the Italian Civil Protection Department, particularly Professor Mauro Dolce. You see the other members from the partners, and the steering committee has a role of guidance and address of the project activity, and should assure that we act in conformity to European DG ECO priorities and policies. And the steering committee is also the formal group that try to guide the advisory group activity and coordinating the views and also the experiences and the proposals coming from the advisory group that has, of course, different type of expertise. In these advisory groups, as I said, we have representatives from science and decision-making institutions coming from different countries. Their role is to advise the project consortium in order to collect the best practices and systematize these best practices, give support for the selection of the topics, and give input for the thematic papers, and also increase the contact and the exposure of the consortium partner of the project to as much as possible other activities. So in order to make it broader the community of experts and practitioners with which we can interact. In these slides, you see that we have the 9 representatives from the scientist world and 7 from the decision makers. I don't read the names for the sake of time, but I thank all of them. Some of them today are speaking in this webinar, but I really thank them for having accepted to be part of the advisory group and for all they have done and will do for the project. Going to the conclusion, we have some outputs that we can mention. One, of course, is the website. Please take note of the website. Where the website is the tool on which you can find all the information on about the project. Professor Viegas mentioned, reminded that this webinar is broadcasted. So you will find also links to see again these webinars on this webinar on this website. So roadmap.ci3r.it. We had already a deadline for the first periodical bulletin, which the bulletins are bi-monthly. So the first one was issued in May 2021. If you go on the website, you can download the first, which is learn about the roadmap project and next steps. So of course, it's an introductory bulletin that is already available. We are enriching the group, the working group within partners organization. So we have open until now the call for young researcher. So please, if any of the participants is interested, or if you have anyone to which you can point out this opportunity, take note, because the deadline is June 28th, so there are still some more days, because CIMA Foundation and Ray Lewis, 2 of the partners of CI3R, have launched this call for young researchers, and young researchers will help us to develop the periodic bulletin. So this is a very good opportunity, and we look forward to as much possible people in order to select the best and the most motivated potential co-workers. The advisory group had already a meeting in April 28th. We had a very fruitful discussion on good practice in the disaster risk management. And when I say fruitful, it means that this discussion has really an impact on the following steps, because the advisory group members pointed out also some criticalities, some needs to clarifications, and this is really what we expect and for which we thank the advisory group. The meeting was also focused on the discussing potential topics for the first thematic paper. The first thematic paper has already a provisional title, Good Practice in Multi-Hazard Risk Operations According to a Scenario-Based Approach. Also, in order to have support for this, we issued a call for 2 experts. Again, please check the website. In this case, the deadline is July 19, so this is a very new call. So we are looking for 2 experts that contribute with us, help us and collaborate with us in order to develop the contents of the first thematic paper. And about the webinar, I told you that we expect more webinars. This is the first one. You know the agenda, which is held today. So I close my presentation by reminding some links about the calls for young researchers and for experts, and reminding you that again, the website is really the platform for all the information and for interacting eventually also with us. So with these slides, I end my presentation. I thank again all participants and give again the word to Professor Viegas. Thank you.